Today, it's a bit of a history lesson. Hi, it's Bud Wilkinson. Today, we're going back in time to World War II and a general-purpose vehicle built in 1943 by Ford. Its styling is familiar. Think Jeep. And the 82-year-old four-wheel drive Ford GPW that belongs to Tom Stansfield of Goshen, Connecticut, was built during World War II to fill a wartime need.
The original purpose of the Jeep was basically a reconnaissance vehicle. They wanted a lightweight four-wheel drive vehicle because after World War I, they realized first they weren't going to be using horses anymore, and they needed a small vehicle that could go anywhere that a horse could, and especially anywhere that a tank could. So they came up with a small four-wheel drive vehicle, which really was the first in its class. There was no other vehicles quite like this. And the Axis powers were quite impressed by it as well and tried to duplicate it. But original specs were very light. It had to have four-wheel drive, a powerful enough engine to drive that. They wanted something around 45 to 60 miles an hour. 45 miles an hour is about what it does.
The bumpers say 1943 Ford. Mm-hmm. That's going to surprise some people that Ford built Jeeps during World War II.
Mm-hmm. It is surprising to people that Ford did build about half of the Jeeps for the military. They built about 280,000 Jeeps from 41 on because they had the production capacity where Bantam, the original designer, and later Willys couldn't keep up with production, so they drafted Ford into production.
Stansfield has owned the GPW for about 8 years, having received it as a birthday gift from his father-in-law, who had it for 47 years. I assume totally no frills for the military.
The two companies that made them in the end, Willys and Ford, basically made a completely interchangeable vehicle. So every part that came off of a Ford could also go on a Willys. There are some very minor differences, mostly cosmetic. There's no structural real changes. Any part could go on any other Jeep. Ford, being Henry Ford, actually put an F script on every single bolt. Every piece of this has a Ford indication of some kind on it. He wanted to make sure everybody knew they were driving a Ford. There's a lot of very interesting things that went into these Jeeps from a design perspective. Every single Jeep in the center of the chassis has a machine gun mount, and it's not exposed. So if your Jeep was going to be carrying a machine gun, they would cut out this plate, and there right below it is the mounting for the pillar that would hold the machine gun. You don't see that in every car. You sit on the gas tank. So the gas tank is underneath the driver's seat, and it's got a very large diameter fill hole that you would also use for aviation fuel or anything else. It was the same filler for filling any military vehicle for fast, high volume filling. It sits underneath the driver encased in a small water jacket. The theory being, if you're going to immobilize a vehicle, you minimize the places to hit in order to immobilize the vehicle. So you might hit the driver, you might hit the gas tank. Well, in this case, we're going to put them all in a very small target. The theory being you would have less chance of actually disabling the vehicle in combat.
The model is so basic and primitive that it has manually operated windshield wipers.
They're off, they're on. They're off, they're on. It's really nice to have a buddy driving with you because he can operate these while you're shifting gears.
How reliable is it?
Well, it's actually fairly reliable. To start it, it sounds like it's never going to start. It's got a 6-volt system, so it cranks very slowly, but then it catches. It doesn't really go very fast anymore. I don't like to drive it much over 30 miles an hour. It's an old Jeep, and they really weren't built for speed.
That's my ride. In Goshen, Connecticut for CT Insider, I'm Bud Wilkinson.